let's go back and let's talk about the high ticket. So the beauty of the high ticket is that right from the get-go, it's more revenue. So typically a high ticket, not always, but typically it's going to go to a web reg page, which is then going to go to the actual showing of the webinar. And then most people have whatever they do, replay, 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 close out. Okay. This is very easy and simple to me because we've done, we genuinely did, we have done 52,000 transactions that were over $1,000. Like, that's a lot, right? Like a lot. So we've built webinar funnels in our sleep at this point. 52,000. Yeah, 52,000 webinar-driven transactions. To, it's almost like you're trying to get me on the record. What he asked, he's like, for the video, Anik. No, seriously, but I say it so confidently because I got a damn Excel file that I'm like, this is substantiated. Yeah, no, I'm joking. 52,000 transactions. Like, sometimes I say that data, like I don't take the step back to go, holy shit, that is like a stadium of people that paid $1,000 or more, right? Through webinars, through these evergreen webinars. So yes, there is a formula to how these webinars should be. There is a formula to how the funnel should be. And I highly encourage you to use that formula because we spent about $20 million in paid traffic, finessing it, and had a whole team that was constantly dabbling with it and figuring it out. Am I saying we do it the best way? No. Am I saying that we do it a way that really worked well? Yeah. Here is the problem with, okay, so let's talk about this. And then you have to have a back end. The challenge with anything that you run to paid traffic directly, guys, is that in order to scale it in today's world, and I say scale, whatever you do here is going to be break even at best. Most likely losing you a little bit of money. Most likely loss leader. So if you don't have anything behind it, you're not going to make any money. What's the point of being a business, right? The low ticket, I said, like we had, that's going to be break even, losing a little bit of money. And then you have your 2 offers behind it. So with here, it's the same scenario. It can, once you scale, so when you're early on spending a few $100, $1,000 a day, you can be profitable on a webinar funnel. You can be once it's dialed in. But once you start to get to the 5 to 10K a day and spend, it's not going to be profitable. It's going to be losing you money. And it's going to be losing you like a fair amount. So typically the back end's always you're going to be your 7K plus offer, right? 20K offer. Nothing wrong with that. Sold on the phone. Nothing wrong with that. However, again, I'm trying to merge my 2 worlds so you understand why I'm picking the models I'm picking. Compliance, let's talk about that. Right now, the number one thing that the regulators are focusing on is telesales. For a multitude of reasons I won't get into right now, but just know that's their number one thing. Even in if you read my case, they harped in on, they let go of everything else. They let go of all my web-driven sales. They only harped in on the 14 million I did on the phone. That was what my whole case became about, everything done on the phone. So what happens is you're walking into this phone call negative, or at best case break even. So the pressure is on to convert. And when you pressure a salesperson who uses the phone to sell, you got to listen to that call. It is beautiful. It is a bunch of horse shit on that call. Like, it is so bad. And the funny thing is we didn't have any of that. We actually had a full-time paralegal in our company listening to every call that led to a sale. We had a full system way before they notified us of anything. So we didn't have any of those issues, but this was definitely an issue. It was something that was on my mind all the time because I'm looking at 30K a day and spend on ads that I know at best, we celebrate the days that we would spend 30 and make 20 back. That was a good day. But now I'm 10K in the hole every day, right? So it's like we got to get a couple of those back end sales, more than a couple, because yeah, sure, I got to pay for the traffic, but who the hell's going to pay for the building and the team and all the other costs? So we got to get a few sales. So you're tracking those numbers very closely, and you're putting pressure on all the people to convert. So the advantage of this, less stuff to create. You focus on one You get higher ticket customers. Yes, there is a correlation to how much a customer spends with you and how good of a customer they are. I mean, it just is. It's correlated. You get what you pay for type of situation. So you'll get better customers, more likely to upgrade to future things, stronger community, more intense tribe. There are advantages. I don't want to say it's, here's what I will not say this is quicker to launch. It is for me. I'm being honest, much quicker to launch a webinar funnel than it is to do an authority funnel for now until I build that team. But that's only because we spent years building a team that knows how to launch webinar funnels. For the average person that I was working with, that I will work with in our Board of Extras program, is very hard for them. Writing a webinar, building the funnel, all the stuff around it. As a matter of fact, webinars on that survey we did to our Board of Extra members was at the very bottom, which was surprising because here I am, the leader of the community, having done in recent times at least most of my results through webinars, right? But it's tough. So I don't want to say it's easier. It's simpler, but it's not easier. There's a lot of other challenges and hurdles to get through. And the number of people that you can use skilled enough to build this for you with you, much smaller. You want to build a funnel that does well with, you want to build a book funnel that, like, you've got a ton of copywriters, a ton of sales page designs, ton of people to do it. You can emulate funnels out of ClickFunnels and Go High Level and all, like they have it all done. You want to build a webinar funnel? You want someone to write you a great webinar that actually converts? Good luck. It is not easy. I write my own for a very strong reason because they all suck, right? So there's very few people, and typically the ones who are very good at it have figured that out and they're doing it for themselves, right? So there are some disadvantages here too. I love this funnel. I obviously did decamillions with this funnel, but I just want you to be aware of something. As I'm now rebuilding and building two separate companies and we're getting ready to scale, this is not my go-to funnel for either one of them. It's not my front-end funnel. This doesn't necessarily help you stake your flag in the ground as well. So by the time I went full focused on webinar funnels in my career, I was already Anik Singal, the guy that teaches email marketing. That flag was in the ground. And how did it get there? I was already the guy that teaches information marketing to a level as well. How did it get there? A little book called Circle of Profit. That was actually when my flag got planted. When did that book come out? It was like 2014. That was when. So, you know, that turns out again. I showed you guys that chart. That book was like a huge movement maker for my brand and my business. So this isn't currently my go-to funnel. It's a great funnel. I love this funnel, and I'm still like people. I said this to a different event, and someone's like, "Well, why are you still running WebinarCon?" I still love webinars, guys. I still love webinars. Okay, so let's go back to this one. How do you think I'm getting to get people into SLO Academy when they buy my authority offers? You don't think I'm going to put them through a webinar funnel? I am. I just don't like it to be the front facing. I don't like it to be the thing that I'm running ads to directly. So I almost like bring my warm audience into the webinar funnel. It'll allow me to say less things on the webinar to get me in trouble. And it will allow me to not be so pressured. Right? So now that's the other benefit. Let's talk about this real quick. One of the benefits of this, and when you look at it this way, now you're going to start to say, holy shit, this just makes sense. I have so many ways to monetize in a low ticket SLO. Okay, I'm obviously monetizing here. So I call this the acquisition phase. You'll hear me talk about this a lot. So let's just cover it real quick. I actually really want to talk about this. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about this. There's the acquisition phase, liquidation phase, there's the back end, and then there's a recurring. So I'm going to go on a deviation. We'll come back and talk about webinars. Acquisition phase, these are the 4 functions. These are the 4 functions your funnel has to have. Your business has to have offers that serve each of these 4 functions if you're going to scale to 8 figures, period. I haven't seen anyone do it yet without these functions fulfilled. Okay? You have an offer that acquires people. It could be the webinar. Now, for me, for the longest time, my acquisition offer was a little free book I would give to people that would sign up for my webinar. So, okay, great, that's fine. I was focusing on bringing in free leads, building my audience of people that were for free. Then you have liquidation. Liquidation is when you make back the spend. So in a free offer, I have to wait for the webinar to happen to liquidate. But in this, I'm liquidating right here. I'm liquidating with my bumps and my upsells. All right. And then you have the back end. The back end is where you finally, because no one wants to be in business just to break even. Back end's when you allow yourself to actually have profit. So if you go back here, my back end, these are where I break into profit, right? Recurring, we'll come back to. So that was the last function. Recurring is, the goal of recurring is stability in your business, which isn't really relevant until you're doing a couple of million a year and have some, you have staff and you have set expenses and costs. But one of the things I want to really stress on in this one is that, so here I'm building an audience. So if I'm doing email marketing, that's one way I'm monetizing. I'm monetizing through my funnel. That's the second way I'm monetizing. I'm monetizing on my back end, my academy. That's the third way I'm monetizing. I'm monetizing my software. It's the fourth way I'm monetizing. I'm monetizing my events. That's the fifth way I'm monetizing. So I'm monetizing the same acquisition that was mostly liquidated at the worst case 5 times. So when you have that moment of aha in your head, you go, holy shit, it's like if I'm even half-ass good at these, I can't, like, it's hard to lose money. But you got to change your perspective. Everyone's looking at paid ads in a 1, 2, 3 day perspective. You've got to look at it differently. I'll sell books right now where I'm losing 20, 30 bucks per book in the, that's because I'm being lazy and I'm not optimizing my ads. But even at scale, 10, 15 bucks down for every book sold of Don't Say That. And I've sold 1,200 books, so I'm probably, let's just say I lost money, 15, 20 grand negative, right? Maybe. But I own a market. I just bought a market for 20 grand. So do you guys see how I'm thinking now? And then that epiphany is very important for you to understand because I look at paid traffic very differently than most people do. So for 20 grand, I bought a market. So imagine you're on on a website buying businesses. And this is buying a market. I bought the market of advertising compliance for 20 grand. So yeah, maybe I'm barking up the completely wrong tree and I'm the ass that's no one's gonna give a crap about. 20 grand to test it. Okay. Now, funny enough, I roll out a test launch of my Compliant Marketing Academy, 30 grand. Just a test launch. I'm rolling out the software on my birthday, June 14th. Yes, I'm a Gemini. Oh my God, he's a Gemini. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Oh, okay. You're a Gemini too. What day? Oh, all right. So the software is going to come out. We're going to take 30 seats at $1,000 a year contract. It's going to sell out. It's going to sell out fast. I already know it. I already see from the interest. So that's another 30K. And then people are already starting to ask for the event. We're going to do a $2,000 per ticket event probably at the end of this year. So it didn't really actually cost me 20 grand. I'm already plus 10,000, and then I haven't even launched the software yet. So, but I have to give it time, right? It's a couple months. But I bought the market for 20K, and now I give it a couple months, and I'll be in profit. So the number of ways I can monetize this when you do this type is a lot more. Now, the minute you come and use webinar offers as an SLO, you eliminated one of the types of monetizations. You still have an email list. You still obviously have you have your webinar. You have your back end. You'll have events and all that. It doesn't change. But you've now made it one less thing that can help you recover your ad spend. And then, so the downside of this is just that. Another downside, honestly, I believe is like, can you deliver a powerful webinar? I didn't say write. I said deliver. This would have never been something on my mind until I had launched a publishing company. And I will never forget, I had one particular, I love this guy, I've known him forever. And we wrote him a webinar. It's a good webinar. I didn't even think to rehearse or anything. I'm like, whatever, it's a webinar. Go deliver a webinar. How hard is it to sell people? Come on, right? And he gets on the webinar. He's like, hello, everybody. Yes, so today, wait, what? Today we are going to talk about, and I was 3 minutes in, I'm like, fudge. And you know what I did? This is a true story. He knows it, so I'm not going to give his name out. I kicked him off the webinar. I'm there. I booted him. Okay? And I said, looks like we're having some technical difficulties, everybody. So I'm going to deliver this webinar for you. No problem. I've got this. I'm here. Because we spent a lot of money to promote that. I'm going to go. The ship is not going down. All right. And he was going to take it down. And he knew. And afterwards, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I love you to death. But I had to. He's like, you have no idea how excited I was when it said this webinar has ended. It was like, it was one of the greatest gifts. He was like, I was freaking out. And he was like, and the biggest thing I got worried about was, what if I have to pee? What am I supposed to do? And I'm just laughing, and I'm like, wow, I really did not prepare this guy. When one of his top concerns is that what if I have to pee, right? Because he's gonna be there for 90 minutes. And so is he gonna be able to deliver the webinar? Are you gonna be able to deliver a powerful webinar? Because there's a lot of elements, and you better, and you need to, because you are really relying on it. This is a 3-day window. They can sign up for a webinar up to 2 days out. You've put a lot of money out. You better make it back. It's just pressure, right? And everything takes longer to optimize, and there's more things to optimize. So if your knowledge and experience and team access is at the level that you can quickly do that, great, do it. For us, it is. And for our BOE members, great, you have us. It is. We're in your back corner. And I don't say no to it, but here's another downside. So let me give you another funny anecdote from our business that always gets people a little shocked. So in our business, let's say we built this new webinar funnel, built this new webinar offer, and we're rolling it out to the market. And we'd roll it out to Evergreen. And if we got, it was about $1,000. Let's just say for a minute, it's a $1,000 offer. If we got one sale in the first $5,000 of ad spend, we were high-fiving. We're excited. Because that was the benchmark. We understood. So now we've lost $4,000. No problem. Now in the next 5K, we want to see 3 sales. So now I've spent 10K, made back 4K. So I'm down 6K. And in the next 5K, I want to see us at like 4 sales. So I'm getting closer with. So it would probably be $20,000 to $30,000 minimum before we had a chance of getting that bad boy at a break-even potential. So you got to be able to cash flow that. And a lot of people who haven't been there, done that, are sweating some big bullets at that 4 or 5K in. They're like, it's not working. Oh my God, stop the presses. I'm going to go get a job. Like I quit. Like, holy shit. Like I've seen it, guys. I've seen like meltdowns happening. And I'm like, we're like 3K in. What the hell is wrong with you? Right? But that's what happens. The higher the price, the more money you need to be willing to spend to figure it out. So there is that little bit of abrasiveness to this funnel that comes up as well. And I'm sorry, that's just harsh reality. Now, how do you get around it? I don't know. You create the offer of a lifetime. You create something that's like, pay me $1,000 and I'll ship a Lamborghini to you, guaranteed, backed by the government. I'm like, all right, shit, I don't have to be on that webinar. But then you don't even need to do a webinar. Just like put it on a sales page and be done with it, right? If your offer is that damn good. But I haven't seen anyone in a realistic environment violate those rules of numbers, the math. And I always say, you want to build and scale a business, it's just math. It really, in the end of the day, it's math. If you don't like data, then you can't scale. Get someone who does in your business to help you, because it's math. It's just numbers.